People deluded. Now, yesterday, Arsenal's under-18s completed a fantastic turnaround. Arsenal 3, Tottenham Hotspur's under-18s 2, and it was a good clash, man. I must admit, whether it's in the FA Cup, FA Youth Cup, whether it's this, I'm so sure they beat us at home earlier in the season. Been some good clashes at under 23s to under 18s level between Arsenal and Spurs, man. And I was impressed, not just with Arsenal and the comeback and all these things, but also Spurs. It had everything, man. It had handbags, it had scraps, it had good play. I feel both teams played quite well, in my opinion. It had everything, man. So, yeah. Going into the game, it's Arsenal v Spurs. I think both of them, I know for us, I ain't looked at the league table again, but I think Spurs can win the league or trying to go for it as well. So on top of Arsenal v Spurs, it's a big clash, people. And like you saw within the squad, Saka and Amici came on, Tyrese, John Jules and Coyle started along with, Greenwood's plays at this level primarily, but it was a strong squad and we called upon some of the more senior players that, while eligible for this level, have kicked on to 23, so we kind of knew we needed some firepower. I think both teams started off well. Both teams showed from the start with their keepers, their midfielders, their centre-halves that they want to play football. I feel Spurs put together some good combinations. I feel we did the same. We had a lot of possession, but I feel in the first half, probably first 10 minutes in particular, our keeper was probably the busiest of the men, to be fair with you. And Spurs deserved their lead. They went ahead. I think Paris Magon, I can never say his name, in the 6th or 7th or 8th minute, they went ahead. Poor play from us. Ben Cottrell, I love him, but I'm so sure it was him, if I can remember correctly. He was caught in possession. He loses the ball. It's a fantastic counter-attack from them. I think Dylan McKenzie, a young player I like at Spurs, he plays in Paris, and Paris slots it home, and it's 1-0 at this moment in time. And I feel both teams are playing good football, showing bravery to play, committed in every challenge, application in terms of the movement and the tracking back of men. I think both teams are doing it, but Spurs have done what they needed to do in taking the lead. Like I said, it was a healthy scrap, people, and both teams were probably fighting for the right to play, to show their things. It was a good little play, man. Big game for me, people. I've already said Arsenal's keeper was probably the busiest. I did think Spurs looked dangerous on the counter-attack, but so did we. So both sides. I did feel the ball to Balogun. I'm surprised Balogun didn't score, because I did feel the ball to Balogun either over the top or them drilled under-hit passes in behind. That ball was on, because I feel Balogun was peeling off on the last shoulder a lot of the times. And we were finding him. There was one effort in the first half. Can't remember who, but someone clipped it over the top. He did very well to fashion an effort for him, and he just dragged the effort wide. And there was a couple of occasions like that. One where John Jules slipped him in as well, but again, he just 5 inches wide of the post, and I did think Balogun was one to look to score for us. John Jules was playing in the 10, I think he was at it. Coyle here and there doing his thing. We were up for it, but I feel Spurs were up for it as well. You had RV White in the engine room. Binks was playing quite well until his sending off, and he's probably an idiot for his sending off. There was no need for that. We'll get onto it. I feel Janil Bennett down on the left-hand side, our right-hand side, was doing a lot as well and presenting issues, and Vontae Daly-Campbell did a lot to deal with it. But Spurs were good for their lead. I feel Spurs, I like how they play. I've told you a lot before, they're a well-drilled side at under-18s level, and that's testament to the players and also the gaffer. I was seeing movement, I was seeing fashion of chances, and our keeper had to be busy. They earned a lot of corners. Probably, if you're Spurs, probably wish you took more advantage of the opportunities you had within the first opening stages, because they could have probably put the game to bed. But I mean, it's only 1-0 at this moment in time. Obviously, in the second half, what was it, 34th minute or something like that, it becomes 2-0 to Spurs, and we make it even harder for ourselves. It's a penalty. Harvey White converts it for them, but if I can remember correctly, it's Swanson played the ball back to his keeper, back to the keeper. At the keeper, it was a bit underhit. Didn't have much to work with. He took the man out. It is a penalty, people. It was a penalty, in my opinion. It was a penalty. And then obviously they pull it in the back of the net, and we go behind 2 goals. And I think we're playing quite well. I'm actually confident that we can at least score 1 goal, because I feel it's a good game, people. As you lot know, at under-18s level, I enjoy it a lot. It's a good game. I feel there's goals in it for us, but I also feel there could be more goals in it for Spurs. But we find ourselves 2-0 down, which is a shame, people. We just haven't taken our chances, and we've got a mountain to climb. Spurs got a red card, obviously. Lewis Binks, I can never say his name, sent off. Where I was standing, it was a bit difficult, but it was completely off the ball, people. I mean, he's I think it's McGuinness. He's grabbing McGuinness from behind his handbags. He pulls him to the floor. Handbags come into everybody's. You know how it is in football. Everyone's got their handbags out, and I think he swung for someone or done something with that. Nothing to. He completely lost his head. And as a professional footballer, you've got to learn from this and do better than this. But he's sent off, and he's given. Obviously, Spurs are in a healthy position in that they're 2-0 up, but it's kind of issues for them. To be fair, first half, other than the sending off the last opening exchanges to the first half, we had a couple opportunities we should have done better. But Spurs, it didn't look, at least in this incident, that they were a man down. They were still at it. I think the real change came in the second half. Second half comes now, and I feel we played much better than Spurs in the second half. I feel Spurs are still at it. Spurs are still fashioning chances. I feel, obviously, we'll get onto it, and Brooks Lyon-Foster scored an own goal, but there was an effort from a corner. The ball fell to him, and he has to hit the target. If he hits the target, it's 3-0, and this game's probably done from Spurs. Done for Spurs in that they take the 3 points, and we can't come back. But other than that, I feel Arsenal were on top, man. I feel, especially when Saka and Amici came on. Amici on the right-hand side, you can see how he's left this level. Twisting man up, finding passes. Vontae Daly-Campbell's getting forward as well. Ben Cottrell in the engine room and Smith as well doing their thing. We're starting to get more of a foothold of the game because they're down to 10 men and probably because Spurs are starting to get tired. They were really struggling consistently to get out their own half. Greenwood's woken up as well. We're really piling under pressure, we're earning corners, we're having efforts that aren't quite good enough to score, but it's nice to see we're looking like we're gonna do this thing, to be honest with you people. And yeah, man, and obviously, when was it? We kept pressing towards the end. We kept doing what we needed to do, and our pressing and our patience finally came off. It's a lovely move, man, between a lot of players. Vontae Daly-Campbell, Amici, and Smith are all involved. Cottrell, I think, eventually slides it through to Saka. Like I said, Saka and Amici, I think, bringing them on because of their pace, because of how they play. Amici wants to come inside and go down the line. Saka the same. It really gave Spurs issues. And Saka eventually manages to get in. It's a good finish. It's 2-1 at this moment in time. The game's almost at a close. And this is why I like clashes like this, because from an Arsenal point of view, you see how to fight back. From a Spurs point of view, they have to learn game management if some of them are going to go off into Spurs' first team or have good careers, because 2-0, obviously it's academy football, so it doesn't matter. But to lose this game 3-2 after being 2-0 up, if you're in a first team where there's fans that are going to ask questions of you, you've got to be able to face that backlash, and you've got to be able to manage out games. Of course, the contexts are different, but can you imagine this was Champions League or FA Cup or something like that? You'd have to ask yourself questions. So game management is a big lesson that both sets of players need to learn, especially Spurs, because obviously they could have been free. It was 2-0 at a point, and they lost it within the dying embers of the game. Obviously, the red card really didn't help them, because you could see when their lads tried to get tired and the substitutions they made, especially trying to bring on a winger and things, you could see they were getting tired, and the manager there wasn't much he could do in it. They're down to 10 men in it, but it's about digging deep. It's 2-1 at this moment in time. Now, back onto game management. Spurs completely bottled it, because a few moments later, Cottrell scores. Initially, it comes from a corner. I think Tyrese John Jules, forgive me if I'm wrong, I can't even remember who at this moment in time. Someone had a shot. It's blocked into it either hit an Arsenal player or a Spurs player. Then it falls in the box to Cottrell. Cottrell makes up for his mistake earlier on, and he's actually got an assist and a goal to match now. He puts it in the back of the net. It's 2-2 at this moment in time, and we're getting something out of the game. Now, if you're Spurs, you're dejected. If you're Arsenal, you're ecstatic, because we've done it, innit? I feel the second half performance deserves such. 3-2 obviously comes with who pull it in now. Against the run of play, I'm so sure Saka put the ball into the box, and then obviously Brooks Lyon-Foster, who could have scored and made it 3 for Spurs, as I said, pull it in the back of his own net. It's 3-2 to Arsenal, and if I'm Spurs, to lose this within 45 minutes, in fact, probably within the last 5 minutes of the second half, it's gutting. Like I said, there's a lot of lessons, game management, not to go forward at certain times, how to keep playing well and having high standards when you've obviously tired as a team. For Arsenal, of course, it's a lovely fight back. It's lovely that we're able to call upon Saka, Amici, Tyrese, John Jules, Coyle and the rest of them, and play them with Greenwood and name strong sides like this. Nice to see Saka and Amici. For me, they changed the game, in my opinion, because it really looked like Spurs' fullbacks were having a tough time, and it was opening a lot of space for us to get higher up the field. So it's a great game. It's 3-2. Fantastic comeback as well. Spurs, I felt they were unlucky. I feel Spurs played quite well. I feel it was all in all, people, a fantastic spectacle to watch, man. And both teams are a credit to their respective clubs. But obviously, it's nice to see Spurs the loss don't get it twisted, especially knowing their first team's only taken 1 point from a possible 15. Hopefully, they lose against Palace on the first game of the season. But like I said, man, I feel couple of players from both sides are going to go off to hopefully have careers at Arsenal and Spurs, and I do think the majority of them are going to have, well, you know what I mean by majority, but a good bulk of them are going to have decent careers elsewhere and earn a good living in football, man. Spurs, like I said, very well drilled side. Arsenal, fantastic fight back. But in regards to the 3-2 victory for Arsenal, I have nothing more to add, people, so I'm going to get out of here. People, thank you for watching. Deluded, I'm out.